Have you ever heard laughter that chills instead of warms? A sound like bones cracking under velvet? They are the colleague who scavenges your joy, nibbling at your wins until only doubt remains. The lover whose teeth hide behind honeyed apologies, biting deeper each time you forgive. The friend who circles your wounds, laughing as they lick the blood still fresh from their own betrayal. Hyenas do not attack head-on. They mirror your hunger, your loneliness, your hope. Hyenas cannot change their nature. They can only hide their teeth. This is not a warning. It is a dissection. We will skin the beast, layer by layer, exposing the 10 faces it wears to stalk your life. By the end, you will recognize the laughter. You will smell the rot beneath the perfume. You must stop mistaking its howl for a human cry. Number 1. The Altruist's Harvest. Have you ever met someone whose kindness felt too precise, like a surgeon's scalpel? There are those who do not give, they invest. Let's start with a deep one. We're not talking about reciprocity, but the darkest minds who feasts on this. They twist reciprocity as a double-edged curved sword. Their generosity is not compassion, but currency, a ledger of favors they'll cash in with interest. They rescue you only to remind you of your debt. They listen only to collect secrets. Their altruism is a net, cast to ensnare your loyalty, your guilt, your silence. Imagine this. A mentor offers unwavering support. They champion your dreams, defend you against critics, even lend money in a crisis. But over time, their gifts morph into chains. After all I've done, you'd question me. They weaponize your gratitude, demanding compliance in exchange for past kindness. This is not care, it is emotional usury. A 2014 study in social, psychological, and personality science identified strategic altruism. Individuals performing good deeds to manipulate social leverage. Their brains light up, not in empathy's warmth, but in the cold calculus of reciprocity. They are human vultures, feasting on the carcass of your obligation. Stoicism teaches gratitude, but warns against blind trust. Seneca wrote, "A gift consists not in what is done or given, but in the intention of the giver." Watch how they speak of their own virtue. Do they broadcast their charity? Use it as a shield against criticism. How dare you accuse me? Look at all I've sacrificed. True goodness needs no trumpet. The saintly facade cracks when you resist their demands. Suddenly, their benevolence curdles into rage. The Stoic knows virtue is not transactional. It flows without expectation, like a river. Those who tally their kindnesses are not healers, they're merchants. To break free, reject their ledger, repay debts with clarity, not compliance. A gift given with strings was never a gift. It's a leash. Walk. Let their saintliness starve in the silence of your absence. This is what Robert Greene mentioned in his Power Laws. Despise the free lunch. Visit the channel after this video. Number 2. The thirst for another's fall. Have you ever felt that chill when someone's eyes lit up at your misstep, as if they'd caught a prize? It's unsettling, because deep down you know they're not just indifferent, they take pleasure in your pain. Such individuals are predators. They sniff out vulnerability like a hyena sensed blood. They lurk in plain sight, these silent predators who feed on misfortune. A friend's failure becomes their feast, your stumble their celebration. They'll offer a smile, but behind it, you sense bloodlust, a craving for your downfall. Psychologists call this schadenfreude, like Vannon and Oosterwijk's 2019 work show it lights up the same reward centers as actual gain. This isn't mere schadenfreude, the subtle pleasure in another's minor mishap. This is a hunger for substantial suffering. Psychologists have long studied this empathy deficit. In 2009, a study in social neuroscience found that some individuals exhibit reduced mirror neuron activity when witnessing others' pain, meaning their brains literally do not resonate with suffering. When someone's joy depends on your misery, they've built their power on your weakness. Stoicism teaches that external events cannot harm your inner fortress unless you let them. Don't gift them your reaction. Observe their relish without letting it breach your calm. Their triumph is a mirror, reflecting their own emptiness more than your defeat. A colleague loses a promotion. A normal person might shrug or offer pity, but the shadow-driven individual lingers. Their voice softens as if to mimic empathy, yet their posture betrays them. They ask for details, not to comfort, but to savor. They may even laugh at the wrong moment, disguising it as nervous habit. This is schadenfreude weaponized, a sign of rot within. When you recognize this pattern, do not waste energy on confrontation or explanation. Instead, distance immediately. You can't reason with someone who celebrates suffering. Protect your mind like a citadel, unbreached by their cruelty. When you refuse to be their stage, their appetite for your ruin withers, and so does their hold over you. Number 3. Chronic liars. Have you ever caught someone in a lie so unnecessary, so pointless, that you wondered why they bothered? The chronic liar doesn't merely bend truth. They inhabit an alternate universe of their own creation, one where reality itself is malleable to their needs. A partner swears they called you yesterday. You know they didn't, yet their voice drips with conviction. You must have forgotten. They sigh, feigning concern. You check your phone logs. No call. When confronted, they frown. Why are you so paranoid? Gaslighting is their mortar. Confusion, their foundation. Watch closely, and you'll notice the subtle inconsistencies, details that shift between telling stories that grow more elaborate with each iteration, facts that contradict what they've said before. Yet when confronted, they don't merely deny, they reconstruct, reinterpret, and redirect with such conviction that you question your own memory rather than their honesty. This pattern reveals a profound psychological fracture. The chronic liar has often experienced a reality where truth brought punishment or a rejection, where fantasy offered the only safe harbor. What began as a survival mechanism has evolved into their primary mode of engagement with the world. They don't simply tell lies, they live within them. Neuroscience reveals a chilling truth. A 2016 study in Nature Neuroscience found that habitual liars exhibit increased gray matter in the prefrontal cortex, the brain's storytelling hub. Over time, lying becomes autonomic, like breathing. Their minds adapt to fabricate, weaving fiction so seamless it infects your certainty. The deeper tragedy is that many have begun to believe their own fabrications. The line between deception and delusion blurs as their internal narrative overwrites actual experience. Psychologists refer to this as pseudologia fantastica, a condition where the individual becomes increasingly detached from objective reality. The Stoic wisdom here is clear. Truth is the foundation of all virtue and meaningful connection. Without it, no relationship can sustain itself. This can be funny, like telling stories. What happened with them? With little more fun, to get more applause. They lie about trivialities. What they ate, where they went, who they spoke to. Just keep in mind that you can't trust them. Why? Because each small untruth is a proof they're evil. And soon, they'll forget truthfulness is a thing. Number 4. The puppeteer of your choices. Have you ever felt your choices slipping through your fingers like sand? There are those who do not just seek power, they need it. Their obsession is not with leadership, but domination, a compulsion to turn your autonomy into their script. Control, for them, is not a tool, it is oxygen. They mask it as concern. I'm just looking out for you. But beneath lies a hunger to own your decisions, your thoughts, even your rebellions. In time, you will slip into learned helplessness, giving up on choices altogether after repeated coercion. By Seligman in 1975. You become dependent, craving their nod of approval more than your own conviction, because they will do it, not once or twice, but forever. It's their shadow, and they can't see it. Imagine this. You decline an invitation. A healthy person respects it. The puppeteer revolts. After all I've done, you'd abandon me. Their voice cracks. Slowly, you start justifying every no to avoid their theatrical guilt. You trade your boundaries for their approval until your life becomes a maze they designed. This is not love or care. It is colonization of the will. A 2017 study in the Journal of Interpersonal Violence revealed that coercive controllers often exploit empathy, weaponizing kindness to erode autonomy. Their tactics, gradual, insidious. They dismantle your confidence, brick by brick, then offer themselves as the architect of your worth. Stoicism teaches mastery over oneself. The puppeteer inverts this. Their insecurity festers like a wound. Controlling you becomes their bandage. Marcus Aurelius wrote of the inner citadel, a fortress of self-governance. But they fear inner citadels. They need you hollow, dependent, a puppet nodding to their strings. Don't surrender your judgment just to keep the peace. Watch how they react when you stand firm. Do their eyes narrow? Does their voice sharpen, as if your independence is a betrayal? That is the hiss of a soul, terrified by its own emptiness. The Stoic does not argue or plead. They act. Remove the strings. Reclaim your agency. Power over others is weakness, disguised as strength. True sovereignty lies in ruling oneself. Cut the puppeteer's threads. Walk. Your life is not a stage for their insecurities. Their reaction to your resistance, anger feigned, victimhood, or guilt-tripping are not signs of a healthy relationship. They reveal a over-possessive mindset, viewing you as a mere pawn in their intricate game. No one possesses the inherent right to govern your life, not even family, because Sigmas drive their own life. Number 5. Beast in disguise. Have you ever loved someone who kissed your bruises after giving them? There are those who fracture your bones, then cradle your brokenness as if they are the cure. Their rage erupts like wildfire, unpredictable, scorching, only to vanish into whispers of remorse. They know the cycle: violence, then vulnerability. It is a snake offering antidotes to its own venom. Watch their apologies. Do they shift blame? You made me so angry. Do they weaponize guilt? I had a terrible childhood. A true apology seeks no forgiveness. It seeks change. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Yet they twist this, convincing you their violence is an event and doesn't need to be fixed. The Stoic does not confuse regret with reform. Words are wind. Actions are truth. To stay is to let the beast feast on your hope. You cannot tame what thrives on chaos. Walk. Number 6. Anger to show dominance. Have you ever walked on eggshells around someone's temper, fearing the next explosion? There are those who wield anger like a blade, sharp, sudden, and strategic. Their outbursts are not accidents, but performances, designed to paralyze you into submission. Rage, for them, is not emotion. It is theater. They scream not because they've lost control, but because they want you to fear them, want you to believe they dominate you. Imagine this: a partner forgets an anniversary. A healthy person communicates hurt. The stormmaker detonates. Doors slam, words cut. Later, they collapse into tears. I didn't mean it. You know how stress makes me. You forgive, but tension lingers. Soon, you're censoring your words, shrinking your needs, becoming a ghost in your own life. It is emotional blackmail. Those who wield anger as a tool don't just lose control. They manufacture fear to bend you to their will. Buss and Perry's aggression questionnaire in 1992 linked trait anger to hostile behavior, showing how some people use outbursts to intimidate, to remind you of your place. It's a performance, a calculated display of power meant to keep you off balance. Study in emotion found that individuals who weaponize anger often display high emotional intelligence. They understand exactly which triggers inflict maximum damage. Their tantrums are calculated, calibrated to your vulnerabilities. Stoicism teaches mastery over one's reactions, but stormmakers invert this. They hijack yours, holding your peace hostage to their chaos. Watch their patterns. Do they erupt at home? but remain calm in public? Can they turn off the storm when a boss calls or a neighbor knocks? Seneca wrote, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay, yet they rush to ignite it, fearing clarity might dissolve their power. Their apologies are traps. I'm just so messed up. You deserve better, but better never comes." You become their emotional janitor, cleaning wounds they keep reopening. The Stoic does not confuse intensity for sincerity. You don't reason with a hurricane. Let the storm rage empty skies. Your peace grows where their lightning cannot reach. These fake peoples don't deserve a Sigma's attention. Number 7. The poison in your victory. Have you ever tasted the bitterness in the air when someone celebrates your success? There are those who cannot bear the weight of your joy. To them, your triumphs are not milestones, but threats, reminders of paths they abandoned or potential they squandered. Their applause is hollow, their smiles strained. Envy is not a fleeting emotion for these souls. It is a venom that corrodes their core. Imagine this: you land a dream job. A friend claps your back, but their eyes flicker. A flash of resentment, quickly masked. "Must be nice," they say, their tone sugary with insincerity. Later, they joke about nepotism or luck, chipping at your achievement until it feels unearned. This is not humor, it is sabotage. Study in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that individuals high in malicious envy often engage in social undermining, subtle acts to erode others' success. Their brains register your win as a loss, triggering a primal urge to restore imbalance. Stoicism teaches indifference to external validation, yet these minds cling to comparison like a lifeline. Your growth mirrors their stagnation, and they cannot forgive you for it. They disguise their toxicity as honesty. "I'm just keeping it real," they say, while their advice seeds doubt. Are you sure you're ready for this? Beneath the facade of concern lies a plea: stay small so I feel safe. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts, but their thoughts are prisons, and they want you locked inside with them." Watch how they speak of others' achievements. Do they downplay accolades? Attribute success to luck or connections? A soul at peace with itself does not diminish light, it reflects it. The Stoic does not dull their spark to soothe another's blindness. Cut the poison from your life. A Sigma doesn't tolerate a person who is trapped in his own shadow. Number 8. They can't forget and forgive. Have you ever crossed paths with someone whose heart is a museum of old wounds? There are those who do not heal. They collect slights like relics, polishing grievances until they gleam with malice. For them, time does not soften blows. It sharpens them into blades. Forgiveness is not a virtue but a surrender, and they will not yield. Served rotten, fermented in bitterness. Psychologists call this ruminative resentment. A 2015 study in emotion found that individuals fixated on past betrayals exhibit heightened activity in brain regions linked to emotional pain, as if reliving the injury anew. Their minds are prisons, and they jail themselves alongside their enemies. Stoicism teaches acceptance of life's imperfections, but these souls reject amor fati. They cloak their vendettas in righteousness. "I'm just holding them accountable." Seneca warned, anger, if not restrained, is frequently more hurtful than the injury that provoked it. But they feed their rage, mistaking it for strength. Watch how they speak of those who wronged them. Do their stories never evolve? Does their voice still crack with fury over a decade-old slight? A heart anchored in the past cannot sail toward peace. The Stoic knows. To dwell on injury is to grant the offender eternal rent-free space in your mind. Revenge, to them, is a ritual, a way to fill their void. Sometimes it's hard to forgive, but if it's necessary for greater good, Sigmas do it. Zetas don't forget, but they too know how to forgive. Number 9. The Weaver's Manipulation. Have you ever felt your memories dissolve like smoke in another's presence? There are those who do not merely deceive, they reprogram you. Their lies are threads, meticulously spun to entangle your grasp on truth. until you question even your own reflection. They do not gaslight. They sculpt a labyrinth where you are both prisoner and guard. They use reciprocation and social proof to manipulate you, offering favors to create debt or feigning consensus to herd you into compliance. Then comes intermittent reinforcement, where unpredictable rewards, affection, praise, attention, keep you hooked, craving the next high. They'll shower you with warmth one moment, withdraw it the next, until your sense of worth depends on their caprice. Imagine this. You recall a promise they broke. They stare, bewildered. You're imagining things. I'd never say that. Their voice softens, tinged with pity. Are you okay? But doubt has already routed. You wonder, am I losing myself? Psychologists term this coercive persuasion. A 2021 study in psychological trauma revealed that prolonged gaslighting shrinks the anterior cingulate cortex, the brain region governing self-trust. Victims don't just doubt facts, they doubt their right to perceive. Stoicism teaches paralysis, the inviolable will, yet weavers exploit this, convincing you to surrender your inner sovereignty to their fiction. They thrive on paradox. You're too fragile for the truth, they whisper, while crafting lies. I'm protecting you, they insist, as they isolate you. Their power lies not in the lie itself, but in the cracks it creates. Your fear of conflict, your craving for their approval. They twist your virtues into vulnerabilities. Kindness becomes compliance, love becomes leash. Watch how they rewrite. Do events shift to cast them as hero or martyr? Do your grievances always circle back to your flaws? A weaver's greatest skill is making you complicit in your own erasure. The Stoic response is neither debate nor rage. It is silent clarity. Epictetus taught, if anyone tells you that a certain person speaks ill of you, do not make excuses, but answer, he was ignorant of my other faults, else he would not have mentioned these alone. Anchor in your unshakable truth. To escape the labyrinth, stop chasing their logic. Your reality is not a collaborative novel. Walk. The weaver's threads fray in the light of resolve. No one can manipulate a sigma. Number 10. The silent alarm within. Have you ever felt a whisper in your bones warning you about someone? A primal tremor no logic could explain. There exists a language older than words, a compass in the subconscious that points to danger long before the mind catches up. Evil does not always announce itself with a snarl. It arrives in silence, draped in charm. Yet your body knows, your pulse quickens, your throat tightens. You dismiss it as anxiety, but deep down, your instincts scream, run. Consider this. You meet someone new. Their words are polished, their smile flawless. Yet when they touch your arm, your skin crawls. You laugh it off, I'm just being paranoid. But weeks later, they betray you. Your gut knew before you did. A 1997 study in Science coined this as the somatic marker hypothesis, the body's ability to signal danger through physical sensations, bypassing conscious thought. These cues are ancient survival tools, relics from when humans lived as prey. They gaslight your instincts, calling you oversensitive or irrational when you recoil. They want you to distrust your body's wisdom, to hand your judgment over to their twisted narratives. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Trust the art within you." Yet how many ignore that art, only to later whisper, "I knew something was wrong." Nature recognizes predators before humans do. A dog's growl, a child's unease. These are unedited truths. The Stoic does not need to rationalize these signs. Logos, the rational mind, it did the calculations. Who is good and who is bad? It's just too hard to see it. To silence your inner alarm is to surrender. You cannot negotiate with intuition. When the air thickens around someone, leave. No apology, no debate. If you feel out of place, if you sense disrespect, leave the room immediately, because we Sigmas don't tolerate disrespect. This is the end of this video. I really want to thank you for what you guys do for this channel. Your support is vital for us. These likes and comments are lifeblood for this channel. I really want to hear from your side. Leave a comment for us. Maybe share your story, or what kind of hyena you met in your life. Now I think you'd appreciate our video on 10 unique Zeta traits. Or YouTube is suggesting the best video for you from my channel. Thanks for watching.